I really didn't have much, but one thing I had was I had a big dream to be a successful person, and I had a big love for makeup. So when you marry the two, so you have, whatever you do, you have to love what you do, number one, and then you have to dream really big. And you know what? With hard work, luck, and everything together, you will get there at one point, and if not, at least you end up halfway there, and you probably have accomplished a lot more. I had no prior experience in running a company, and I had no money, I had no connection, but just a big dream. And I think having a big dream is the most imperative when you're starting a company. When somebody tells you or asks you to do something that's not within your job description, don't say, that's not my job, I'm not gonna do it. And that same thing as being a student as well, right? Because every new opportunity is an opportunity for you. So you have to make yourself say, thank you for the opportunity, I'll do it. And you have to jump into it and grab onto the opportunity, because doing something new will teach you something every day. Because when you're comfortable, you don't grow as a person. You have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation for you to grow as a person. Just keep in mind, whatever you do, as long as you have a dream, and as long as you're productive at what you do, but most importantly, if you have fun and if you enjoy what you do, then it's all worth it, and you work hard, you dedicate yourself, and everything will happen naturally.
You can start talking a little bit about your commitment and focus, as well as your attitude, and how that helps you in your workplace.
I think attitude is the most important thing, because throughout your life, throughout school, throughout your career, you're going to run into things that didn't work out the way you had hoped. And I try to look at everything as a positive opportunity. There might be that client that I didn't sign, but wow, we did a great job as a team pulling together that proposal, and we learned some new things about ourselves and our capabilities. I think people want to be around you when you're positive. If you're constantly complaining about, how you didn't want to get up today, or you don't like who you're working with, or you're not happy with your job, people don't want to be around you. I think positivity, it makes you attractive, and it makes you go further in life.
The employees were the most motivating factor for the success that we've achieved. From everyone from the warehouse to the customer service, they were always so positive, always so happy to be where they were, and I feel like that's what really encouraged us. When times are hard, when it's hard to run a business, that was really the motivational factor for us.
I started my company when I was 26 years old, and I gave out my age. See, I was young, I'm female. As you can see, I'm minority, and I'm a first-generation immigrant, actually. I came to this country when I was 13 years old, and I spoke no English when I came here. My parents landed this country with 3 children, and they only had $2,000 to their name. And we just worked hard, and we worked our way up. But I had no connection, I had no MBA, I had no money. I literally had nothing but my bare hands. And look where I am now. See, this is the most fantastic news, because it does happen when you put everything to it. And when I started my company, I was telling people, I said, you know what, I'm going to build a brand that I'm going to sell to L'Oreal one day. And people laughed at me. And of course they're gonna laugh at me. I mean, how ridiculous is that? How can somebody like me succeed in this competitive space, right? But the most fantastic news is I did it. And if I can do it, then so can you.
You can give our students one advice that would help them to either launch their career or moving forward. What kind of advice would you give?
I would say, I think it's very important, like I said earlier, to find something you really love and you're passionate about that you can finish. I think it can be really hard to stick in there and complete the degree that you're going after, and I think that just having the ability to finish says a lot in the working world. And what I often will tell students of mine or people that are looking for work, check out LinkedIn. If you guys aren't on LinkedIn, it's a wonderful resource. And I often tell people, look up the profile of someone that you admire. Go look at that CEO's LinkedIn profile, see where they started and worked their way up. You can find really interesting career paths of people that you admire on LinkedIn. You can find what jobs are open out there. What do you want to do with your life? You can see that people have different degrees than the work that they're doing today, just like me. And I think it's a tremendous resource for networking and just for finding opportunities and just finding your space. And it's often a great place to start brainstorming. You don't really know where to go next, you're feeling a little lost, just hop onto LinkedIn and you can find a lot of inspiration there. So if you don't have a profile set up, I would say most definitely do so. When I'm going to start my own company, people kind of look at me crazy like, you can't do that. And I think that comes from fear from other people or maybe from jealousy, and they want to do it but they can't, so they try to put you down. And I think a lot of people you're going to run into are going to tell you that you can't do it. You may tell them you're changing your major or here's what you're interested in, and they'll tell you you can't do it. And I think you can, and you just need to stay committed and determined, and don't believe when people say you can't. If you believe you can, then you can do anything.
Fear is not a bad thing. What you do with fear is what makes your life trajectory very, very different. Our chairman of the board, Ambassador Frank Baxter, ran one of the largest companies in the world called Jefferies. It's the largest investment banking firm in the world. He said, I always hired the very, very talented people who work very hard and who are painfully insecure and fearful, because they'll work really, really hard when they're hired. The ones who are very confident and look very confident and cocky, they're not gonna work as hard. So it's okay if you feel that you're not gonna make it and you feel like an imposter, because that's really one of the big ingredients for success.
I actually feel you guys being here and going to college and, having that goal to finish school is already a huge confidence booster. I have to say, finishing school is probably one of the, really, really key things in everything, just from the people that you meet and the interactions that you have. I mean, going to school is tough. It may seem easy for a lot of people, but it isn't. It really isn't. Just even finishing a class, even finishing a semester, that's a huge achievement. And so I truly feel that you guys even being here and trying to finish what you started is a huge advantage, because there's a lot of people out there that don't have that advantage.
Felt so great and so proud that I finished it and had that degree. And I look back at that time when I hit those situations again, like it's just like school. I know I can do it. I can finish it. And I think that characteristic of being able to finish something that's really difficult will stay with you for the rest of your life, because having that determination and knowing you can do it will really carry through and help you with your success. Facebook can be a really great resource to interact with brands or to build your personal brand. Twitter is a great place to see real-time information and to interact with other brands. Basically, all of these platforms have public information out there where you can communicate with companies or businesses that you're looking, that you would like to work for one day. Or like I said, if you find somebody very aspirational for you, you can follow them on social media and interact with them. So I think it can be a really great place to find opportunities that maybe you didn't know exist in your field or other fields you're interested in, and find key players or just people similar to you that you can interact with. So I think the world is very different these days. The internet, it has changed the job world completely. I actually got recruited for a job at Time Inc. because of my LinkedIn profile. I just had it updated with what I was working on, and Time Inc. came my way and said, hey, we'd like for you to come in and run our social media and help us build out some mobile apps. And I thought that was fantastic. So I'm like, why not? I get a job offer without even trying, just by being active on social media.
This is the best country in the world. We're in America. If you want to be in business, business has one color. That's green. Doesn't look at any other colors. It doesn't look at the gender. It doesn't look at the age. You just have to be damn good at what you do. And you have to work really hard at it. I'm a woman. I never think of it. So you shouldn't think about women being a woman as disadvantage, because there's absolutely no disadvantage. There's no disadvantage. The only disadvantage is your disability to move forward. It's your mind is the only disability we have in this country. And there's so many opportunities here. Every graduation is a reason why I'm here. Some people cry in weddings and some people cry in, funerals. I cry in our graduation every single time because our graduates are our inspiration. Every single story that you bring to the table at Fremont College, and what a privilege for me to be part of your life. It is such an incredible blessing. And somebody asked me at one time, if you win a lotto and you have all the money in the world, what would you do? I said, I would still work at Fremont College. And I sincerely mean it, because when I was really young, I sold my first company. Like Tony, I was very lucky. I sold my first company, which was a fashion company. I did win the lotto, and I went back to school because I wanted to be part of someone else's journey. And being in Fremont College, I know your stories, and I feel very honored and privileged to be here.